Hello and welcome to this election interview on HOMTV. I'm Brandie Yates, and joining me in the studio is Bradley Funkhouser. He's the CEO of Capital Area Transportation Authority, also known as CATA. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation, Brandie. I appreciate it.
So the March 10th presidential primary is just around the corner, and there's some local proposals here in Ingham County,
Right.
and one of them is for CATA. Can you tell us about that millage?
Yes, so this is a renewal, and it lasts 5 years, and what this millage goes toward is our operating fund. So every 5 years, CATA comes to the 5 participating jurisdictions, including Meridian Township, and asks them to renew this, and it's for 3 mills, and that will occur this coming Tuesday.
Okay, and so when you say operations, what does that mean?
So I divide our budget into capital and into operating. Capital is buses and buildings and equipment, construction projects. Operating is salaries and paying for the electricity and the overhead and some of the biggest costs that we have in putting the service out.
Okay, and so let's talk about the future of public transportation. I know with operating costs and then the, like you said, the repairs of the buses and that kind of thing. Where is public transportation going, and why is this important?
This is a very exciting time for public transit, not only nationally in our state, but also in this region. We've had the opportunity over the last couple of years to really communicate with the public, our business partners, and look toward the future and say, what kind of transportation, public transportation, do you want? And we've had some really big strides in the last couple of years, but the future holds a lot of neat things technology-wise, new equipment, shelters, buses, but also kind of rethinking what transportation is. And what I want to do is really begin this discussion of mobility and talk about regional mobility. Let's take down the barriers from one jurisdiction to the other, listen to the public as far as where is it that you want to go, whether you're trying to get to the doctor's office, whether you're trying to get to school, or whether you're trying to get to work, or we're putting together maybe even contracted service that woos in a developer. We've looked at a couple of those. You've got some big developers coming into the region. We want to be on the forefront economic development-wise, having that conversation with them and saying, yeah, let's be creative in how we do public transit.
And what, speaking of that, you said you're listening to the people who use your service or in the area. What kind of things have you heard over the last few years that CATA's doing great or maybe needs some improvement that maybe could be addressed with some additional millage funds or just other projects?
Well, these are not going to be, there's not going to be an increase to the millage, and I think that's very important. This is a renewal. And what we've done and will continue to do is look at efficiencies. But first and foremost, I want to be able to provide the service that the residents of Meridian Township and the other 4 jurisdictions want. And we have to do it effectively, efficiently. And so we spend a lot of time going out to community meetings, taking phone calls, and there will always be areas that we can do better. Capacity was an issue a couple years ago, and working with this township board and the representatives on my board, Dan Opsimer and Donna Rose, as well as your township manager, Frank Walsh, we've been able to eliminate almost entirely the capacity issues on the Ready Ride. Now, that's just a start. I think we've got to be more creative with technology. We've committed to getting some online apps that make the reservation system more efficient. But what I really want to do is integrate the system where the fixed route, the Ready Ride, the SpecTran, all of these services, even potentially privatized services in other areas, will at least be coordinated so you can make one trip across the region. So we're excited about that. We got a long ways to go.
And that's one of those feedback that you've received
Absolutely.
from. Okay. Anything else you want to say about this millage or the future of CATA or anything just for people who are watching that need to know?
If you haven't ridden CATA in a while, give it a chance. We'd love to hear what your experience is. The second thing I would say is thank you for allowing us to provide the Ready Ride service, as well as the support in the millage. I encourage everyone to get out and vote. Finally, the last plug, if you don't mind.
Of course.
A couple days ago, we had the distinct honor of having the governor launch 2 census buses. This is the first wrapped buses that we've had in the CATA system, so look for them on the Route 1 and other routes, and they're encouraging everybody to be counted in the census. And why that's so important for us is, I mentioned in the first segment about our capital funding. Our capital funding is based on population, and that population count, among other things, helps supply federal funding for our buses and facilities. And so we are a very enthusiastic team member on the census. Get out there and make sure that you get your census done as well.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. I mean, elections and census, those are some big topics this year, and thank you so much for being here to talk about the millage, and I'm sure we'll be following up on other projects as well.
Thanks for the invitation, Brandie. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.